Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Grue Rume. And today for the Grue Rume, we got a very special guest, Iko The Rainman. Jason is his real name, and he's going to be talking about a horror film that he's working on that he is crowdfunding called Ash, and it's based off of Silent Hill, I believe it is. So we're going to find out all about the horror movie and have a nice conversation with him about horror music. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Rume, and my interview with Rain Man is coming up next. Okay, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. uh, so I was looking stuff up on you, and you definitely do a lot of different things. Like you write, direct, produce, act, and you do music as well. So how did you get involved with all that?
That's a loaded question. I am a man of many hats, as
Yes,
people would say.
yes.
I started off writing when I was very young. I've always been a passionate writer before I probably even realized that was the case. And then from writing, I got myself involved into making home movies and videos with my friend Forrest when I was very young. I think my first camera when I was 12, and we would go around the city. We lived in Pompano at the time, and we were just go around doing pranks on people, making like stupid home movies and
Nice.
videos. I think technically my first movie probably came out in like 2003. It was just something
Okay.
that we filmed at my house. It was really silly. And then from there, late high school, I started really getting into hip hop. And I was sort of, all of my friends were scattered at the time because I had moved into a new high school. So hip hop was very much like my best friend during high school.
Oh, okay.
And at one point during like me and my friend Nate, we would always, we would smoke weed together on like the weekends and stuff. And then we would start to freestyle. And it got to the point where I was like, we're actually pretty good. We're actually pretty good rappers. And that started that passion into making music. And that took
Oh,
over my life for a while.
oh,
So there
wow.
was like a long part of, I guess, my career where I was just trying to become a famous musician.
Okay.
And eventually I took my love and my knowledge for film and started to incorporate that into my music. Once we became sort of like a team of friends where we had a bunch of musicians, the problem of finding someone to do our own photos, to create our own videos for us was a thing. We were young, we couldn't afford to hire a video person to film us music videos. So
Yeah.
by process of elimination, I was that guy. So from there, I just started getting more and more involved into video production to the point where I started to see more success with film than I did with music. So I started to pursue that. So here I am.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Nice. And when you were writing songs and I mean, I know you're still doing songs, yeah, doing music, but
Mhm.
when you're writing songs and making songs, like which song do you like the most out of all the songs you've done?
You're asking me to choose one of my favorite children right now. Oh boy. My favorite song, I think, probably has to be Basement Music.
Okay.
It's on my YouTube channel. If you just type in Iko The Rainman, Basement Music. It's the first song that I heard that we had recorded that I had became uncontrollably and explicitly proud of.
Nice.
It was like
Nice.
Christmas. Secret note about that, funny little story about that song was my one of my best friends, Leon, who's actually working with me on this movie. He actually gets to do a little cameo in the movie, and he's helping out with production design. He wrote that song for my birthday.
Really?
You know, he wrote the hook for the he wrote the hook and he wrote a verse. And he goes, "Listen, man, I found this beat. I think it sort of encapsulates this movement we have going on. And I wrote this thing, and this song is for you. Happy birthday. And this is the anthem." And then I was just like, "Oh my god, this song is lovely. It's catchy. It's fun."
Nice.
And whenever when people started to hear that song, they're like, "Oh wow, you're you guys are actually onto something. You guys are actually pretty good." And to this day, many people would say that that's their favorite song as well.
Really? Wow. Okay. And do you tour too with your music?
I have toured. We have gone and we've done music across the country and stuff like that. Nothing too big. I never broke out of the underground scene. I did find a lot of success online by creating a cult fan base, by linking and meeting up with other artists. When we were younger, there was this like race to the finish line. So like, we got to become famous, successful, and on TV. But that definitely changed, you know, as I grew and my responsibilities have changed, and my skills as an artist had developed. I found that I could get to a point in where I want in my life with film production
Mm-hmm.
a lot quicker and a lot better, and a career that could last, you know, my entire life, as opposed to music. Because, you know,
Yeah.
music, you're kind of a product on the shelf, and once your time on the shelf is gone, that's kind of it for you. So I think I got a little too old.
Oh, okay. Are are you working on like any new music?
Yes, I'm actually working on two sets of music,
Oh, wow.
two albums technically. So one album is called Basement Music 3, which will
Nice.
be the trilogy of my basement music series. And that's going to go back to more of like my classic 90s style hip hop rapping.
Oh,
I
nice.
started working on this last year. And then once the movie came about, that's when I put that to the side for a little bit.
Of course.
The second album that I'm working on, I don't know if I'm going to make it an album, but I am working with other musicians on the soundtrack for my movie. So that is
Nice.
going to be a purely soundtrack based LP. There won't be any lyrics or no rap songs or anything on it. There
Oh,
might
okay.
be maybe one song from an artist that I hire to do, you know, a song. It won't be rap.
Mhm.
We might be a different genre,
Oh,
but
okay.
I want to work on the soundtrack for my movie. So we have developed two songs for it already. One of them being a cover from one of the Silent Hill songs. But
Nice. Nice.
as we drifted more into creating our own thing instead of it being a Silent Hill fan film or a Silent Hill movie. So yeah, so once we finish the movie, we're gonna go full, do a deep dive into just start recording music for this thing. So that's the two
Awesome.
projects I got in mind.
Awesome. And you're talking about the movie. So you have a horror film that you're working on called Ash. And can you tell us about the film?
Yes, I can. To be honest with you, the idea for this movie secretly came about in, I'd say, like 2018, 2019.
Oh, okay.
I was talking to my cinematographer who's also working with me on this project. We were shooting a music video at the time called Ultra Instinct. And I was making this, we were talking about like, oh, short film ideas that we had. And one of the ideas that I had was just like, well, what if we did a horror movie? But then at the end of the horror movie, you find out it took place in Silent Hill. Dun, dun, dun.
Nice.
And once I said
Nice.
that out loud, that idea just never left. So December of last year, my cinematographer Gio reached out to me and told me about some equipment that he was sitting on. So he works for a
Hmm.
production company in Wyoming. We were given over $100,000 worth of film equipment to be able to sort of play around with.
Wow.
And I mentioned to him, I said, hey, why don't we make a movie? Why don't we do something short, small, independent to show off our cinematography skills and what we've learned,
Hmm.
see what comes from there. And then that became the long 10 months of pre-production before we actually began filming in about 4 to 5 days.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Nice. And so is that basically what the horror film is about? Like, it's a film and then you find out it's like Silent Hill.
Well, so here's the thing. What we started to do is when we first started doing the treatment for the story back in December and January, it had nothing to do with Silent Hill. It was about a group of kids who wandered into the mountains and had a UFO experience. And then that created this paradox within the area that they were at. My goal was to make a movie that took place in one location to save on money, to have it be a really small cast, and to focus more on mood and atmosphere. Because obviously,
Nice.
until we get to a point where we're dealing with professional actors, we're not dealing with professional actors. So we gotta, as a director and as a project manager who's bringing these people together, you got to know where your strengths are. So, so just to and also to answer your question, from there I brought up that idea that I had mentioned. I was like, oh, what if this was a Silent Hill movie? And my buddy was like, oh, what's Silent Hill? And I was like, okay. I gave him the explanation. And then from there, we scrapped what we had, everything that we wrote. And at the time, the person who was co-writing the script with, he's just like, I give up. He's just like, you go do your own thing. He's like, you don't seem to know what you want. He's a fantastic writer, but again, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had an idea that I was going to play with. So what started off as an original film, then for a couple weeks was a fan film. I was like, let's do a Silent Hill fan film. And then my producers, we got more people involved, and then they were asking, they're like, oh, well, do you want to sell this project when it's done? Do you want to put it on Amazon? You know, can we make money off of this if it's a Silent Hill movie? And not having much legal counsel, I sort of instinctively just said, no, we probably can't. So what I decided to do was, instead of make it a Silent Hill fan film or a movie, it's more of a spiritual successor. It's all Silent Hill but a name. So we're not using anything that's going to get us in trouble with copyrights. It's very much like when you watch this movie, if someone didn't tell you this was what kind of movie it was, and or let's say you had a Silent Hill fan watching my movie, they would be
Yes.
like, this is a Silent Hill movie. Or this movie is taking place in Silent Hill. They haven't mentioned Silent Hill yet, but I'm pretty sure that that's what's going on.
Smart.
So
Smart.
we're sort of teasing stuff,
Yeah,
hinting at
exactly.
things. So it's more of also a proof of concept, because if this is successful, we want to take this to Netflix and push an anthology series. You know, think
Wow.
Black Mirror style, Twilight Zone, but it all takes place in Silent Hill. So
Nice,
that's the
nice,
idea.
nice. I like that. I like that a lot.
Are you familiar with Silent Hill?
Oh, of
Like,
course, of course. I'm a big fan of horror movies, horror games. So yeah.
okay, so yeah, so I'm talking to the right person here. Yeah, Silent Hill, I think, is the perfect property to adapt if you want to try to do a good video game adaptation. There's that stigma and that curse that people say there's no video game movies that
Right,
are worth your time.
right, right.
I think TV has had a little bit different success. Have you watched Castlevania on
Oh
Netflix?
yeah, yeah.
It's fantastic.
It is. It is.
So
I love it.
yeah, so Netflix already has that relationship with Konami.
Hmm.
So my idea was, let me bring them this project once it's done and released. Be like, hey, this is kind of our Silent Hill pilot. What do you
Nice,
think? So we
nice.
have that connections to be able to go through with that. There's a lot of psychological elements that we can explore at Silent Hill that I think was ignored in the movies. I think the movies focused more on visuals
Of course, yeah.
and atmosphere, I'd say, because that's obviously a big part of what Silent Hill is what it looks like.
True.
But the number one thing is the psyche of the individual Agnes in all the Silent Hill games. They're just losing their minds. So
You're
a lot
right.
to explore.
You're right. Like the Silent Hill games are like one of my favorite like horror video games. It's just great.
Yeah. It's funny because when I was doing more research on Silent Hill to sort of refreshen up on what I do and what I, needed to know before
Hmm.
I started to work on this project was what kind of stories could I tell? And I came across this YouTube channel that did like a really in-depth psychological breakdown of Silent Hill 2. And it was like this
Oh.
20-minute video. I wish I could remember what it is, but I realized like how much potential and how much just torment there is to explore with someone's mind who is collapsing and
Hmm.
being brought to a place where your depression, your anxiety, your fears, and your past manifests itself into images around this town. I could go on infinitely about how much Silent Hill is an untapped resource that I will definitely milk.
Oh, of course. Nice, nice.
Do you have a favorite Silent Hill game or
I don't know. Probably I would probably like Silent Hill 3, I would say.
Mhm. That's probably my favorite too.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, nice, nice.
Yeah, that was the first one where its aesthetics, like obviously the first two have their look to it, but it
Well,
wasn't
yeah, of
until
course.
I remember seeing the graphics for the third game when it came out
The
at the time.
graphics are unbelievable.
Oh my god, this game
Yeah.
is holy crap. So, yeah, it definitely reeled me in. I think that's really when I became a fan of Silent Hill is when the third
Nice.
game came out.
Nice, nice. I love it. And where are you going to be filming at? Because you say you didn't start filming yet, right?
No, yeah. So right now I'm in Florida, which is the East Coast time, same as yours. Where are
Hmm.
you located, by the way?
Philly.
Philly. Oh, nice, nice. That's awesome. Not too far away from where I was in New York. So I
Oh
used to live in New
yeah.
York City,
Yeah,
so we weren't too far away.
it's only like 2 hours
Two
from
hour
me. That's
drive.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're filming in Sheridan, Wyoming.
Oh
It's a
wow.
small town that is
Yeah.
just surrounded by hills and mountains.
Wow.
And
Okay.
you if you wake up early, there's the whole place is just drenched with fog. It's
Really?
literally like a real life Silent Hill
Oh my
town.
God, that's crazy.
And when we went there to explore, to go see what this place looked like, because my cinematographer is up there and the production house that is
Oh,
providing us the equipment is also in Wyoming.
so it makes sense to
So
film.
yeah, so I was like, well, we're not going to take all of your company stuff and just go anywhere we want with it. I was like, let's
Yes.
just stay in your hometown and in like the
Hmm.
outskirts of the town. And then that's when I was like, oh, what kind of story can I tell in a small secluded thing? And it's like, oh, well, what if a couple kids go camping and some scary shit starts to happen?
Nice.
And then that became the premise, the idea of telling a story in a sort of self-contained area, small group of people. I started pulling influences from movies that did that, like the Blair Witch,
Yeah.
the Ritual. Have you seen the Ritual on
Yeah.
Netflix?
Yeah.
The Ritual was probably, I say, number one or two on the inspirational list because it's filmed in an absolutely beautiful location that, depending on the story direction, it could go totally wrong. So I love the idea where the whole movie is just four characters mourning their friend, and then they get lost in the forest somewhere and spooky stuff starts to happen.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that was very much, I was like, okay, let me study everything that they did to be able to sort of try to encapsulate that idea of telling a story that is isolated.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. I, I mean, you see me like any film that involves stuff like that, like when people are camping and something goes wrong and it's supernatural or whatever. Like I, I, I love those kind of movies.
Yeah, same here. It really puts a test on the creative team and the actors because
Yeah.
they're given very little to work with. But I think that's also kind of a blessing because of, the bigger the production, the bigger the movie, the more complicated that becomes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just even myself filming this small movie, I've encountered numerous obstacles. Like even yesterday, like the reason why I couldn't make the interview yesterday, I was just like, the universe doesn't want me to make this movie. And they kept throwing Mario Kart shells at me.
Oh
I'm
my
trying to get to the
God.
finish line. It's like I'm almost there. And then yesterday I got hit with a blue shell, and I'm like, oh Jesus. So
Wow. Wow. Okay.
yeah, it's I mentioned yesterday, I was just like, man, this movie is supposed to be fun. It's not been fun so far. I'm sure pre-production is a nightmare. It's a
Oh
nightmare,
no, that
especially for an
sucks.
indie filmmaker. Yeah. But that'll change though. This project is also being designed as a resume booster. So right now,
Nice.
all of
Nice.
us, I have commercials under my belt. I have TV shows under my
Hmm.
belt, music videos. I don't have a full narrative
Okay.
that I could say that I was responsible for. So in Hollywood, having a spicy resume like that allows you to be able to apply for more jobs.
Exactly.
I could from then realistically probably go on to direct episodes of TV shows
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like that, and then gradually, maybe do a bigger movie. So I'm not. This project wasn't designed like, hey, we're gonna make a movie and we're gonna become famous and all that stuff. It's just like, no, this is a very much needed piece of art that is needed for my resume to be able to really flourish and blossom.
Okay. Okay. That definitely works. Especially if you get a a lot of eyes on it.
Yeah, we created the Ash Instagram, and what I started to do, I started following like a bunch of Silent Hill fans and horror movie fans,
Sweet.
and I
Sweet.
started posting, just dumping all the stuff that we've done so far to be able to keep people up with the process of making this movie. And
Hmm.
I've received many messages from fans saying, "Hey, like from what we've seen so far, just posters and your character art and the behind the scenes of your makeup tests,
Oh,
this looks really cool." And the
that's
fact that
awesome.
random strangers are finding me and telling me that they're excited for my movie is a feeling, it's almost undescribable. It's very
That's
awesome. So
awesome. I mean, especially coming from fans of the video game like that, that proves it right there. You're
yeah,
on to
it's a lot of
something.
pressure. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
pressure
it's
because
a lot of pressure too. But
if we fuck up, they're coming after me.
oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The video game fans are very loyal to the video game.
Oh man, I come from the video game world, so I know how do I say this without getting anyone mad? I know how ferocious we can be when you piss off gamers. So
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I definitely see you having a lot of pressure, especially since there's ties to Silent Hill.
yeah, as I said, until we have the movie filmed, and then I could ask uh our lawyer, my girlfriend's father,
Hmm.
who was an entertainer lawyer. He's very knowledgeable. So
Nice.
there's a lot of questions I still have in
Oh yeah,
regards
of
to what we
course.
can and cannot place in the movie. There is one Easter egg I do want to put at the end of the movie.
Okay.
I don't want to say exactly what it
Well,
is,
yeah, yeah, of
but it's
course
a
not.
very big reference to Silent Hill.
Nice.
But
Nice.
I'm not sure if we can do that. So I have to find out. But I designed that Easter egg to be placed in post, so it could be added or removed digitally.
Oh,
So we'll
okay.
see. So depending on the kind of information that I'm provided by our lawyers, I will see if I could fully harness that Easter egg that I have planned for the movie.
Well, I'm hoping you are legally allowed to do it because I mean it sounds fun having a big thing like that from the video game and the movie. So whatever you have planned, I'm hoping it definitely gets the green light.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's just really knowing how much we can tease and how much we
Exactly.
can't. So
Exactly.
I think there is a good line of teasing something without actually stepping over copyright infringement material.
True.
So
True.
I think that's sort of the line that we're trying to nail right now. So for
Okay.
instance, like if I had a welcome to Silent Hill sign somewhere in the movie, I wouldn't say welcome to Silent Hill.
Well, yeah,
I'd
because
I would
uh,
probably have dirt and blood or ash
yes,
covering it. So
yes,
it
that's
says
great.
welcome to something something, and then
Great.
it will put that in your head. Will be like, oh, that might say welcome to Silent Hill. It doesn't say it, but because some of the letters are missing or it's partially destroyed,
Yes.
that's really what I'm trying to see if we can get away with.
Okay. I mean, I there shouldn't be a problem with that as long as you don't have the name in the film.
Mhm.
Like I don't see that being a problem, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know.
No, yeah, that's really like I said, I'm just not sure. Yeah, so we'll find out.
Yeah. And are you still currently crowdfunding it yet?
Yes, we still do have the GoFundMe up.
Mhm.
That was set up to be able to provide additional resources because when we get there, and even with now, there's been things that'll come up last minute where it's just like, oh, you have to spend some extra money that we didn't
Mhm.
know we had to spend. So that
Mhm.
helps out with that. And that'll also the GoFundMe will also go into post pre-production. So the GoFundMe will change a little bit. We're gonna add a new section to it, like
Nice.
adding more to it because well, now that the movie's filmed and it's done, we might need a little bit of help with assembling the movie together. Now we have the pieces. We might have to hire someone to be able to color it, to be able
True.
to add some of the CGI or special effects that we very little amount of special effects and CGI, mind you, to be
Mhm.
able to give the movie the look that we want. But yeah, the GoFundMe is there to be able to support us. It's to be able to provide us some food while we're there. This
Oh,
is a completely self-funded project
well, yeah, of course.
in collaboration with Only Co and I Am Empath. It's a huge leap for us. So we'll see where this journey will take us.
Nice, nice. Well, I'm definitely hoping you raise the funds you need to raise for the film, and anyone who watches this, go to the GoFundMe page and help
Yeah, you could
support
go
the
to
horror film.
asilenthill.com, just donate $1. Like that literally like 50 cents, anything
Yeah.
helps. So our website, asilenthill.com, which that's what ASH stands for, A Silent
Oh,
Hill.
nice,
Um,
nice.
so yeah, that has our social media links. That has the page where you can just go visit and donate $1 if you can. And we have some tiers there. So if you donate a certain amount, you might get your name in the credits, or you might receive a poster or
There
a
you
digital
go.
copy of the movie. So we have some incentives.
Nice, nice, awesome. So wanted to ask you, like, I mean, I know you're a big fan of the video game, the Silent Hill and stuff like that. Is there any horror films that you love watching?
Yes, I just watched The Conjuring last night again. I
Nice.
love The Conjuring 1 and 2. I have to rewatch the third one because I was just like, this feels off. It's like I miss James Wan. But I think my favorite horror movie is probably Wreck 2.
Oh yeah,
Ever heard
yeah,
of
yeah.
Wreck?
Yeah, definitely,
REC?
definitely.
Yeah. Those are I came across the trailer for Wreck 2 on the internet, and I was like, this
Okay.
trailer looks masterful. And then I immediately went and purchased the movie, and I was like, this is an amazing movie.
Nice.
So I think Rec 2 is. I have other favorites as well. Like I don't know if you count American Psycho, but I would also put John
Oh
Carpenter's The
yeah.
Thing, Halloween 1, 2, and 3. I'm a huge fan of Halloween 3. I'm one of those people who
Season of the Witch, yeah.
Season of the Witch, baby. So I totally totally love that movie. So yeah, I have a couple favorites. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead was
Okay.
the first horror movie that I watched as a child that I was like, oh my god, horror movies could be fun. Because I couldn't. It was like a love and hate relationship prior to Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Because
Uh,
you couldn't get me to go to a theater to watch a horror movie. You could not
oh,
get it.
oh wow.
And then now I'm obsessed with horror movies. So it was my friend Sharts, and we went to go see Dawn of the Dead
Uh-huh.
in 2004, 2003, right? And it was also my first zombie movie.
Oh wow. Okay.
Shout out to Zack Snyder for that. And that
Okay.
movie terrified the shit out of me, but I also had a lot of fun. So I think I had literally came across like the movie where I was like, okay, that broke that seal that I had. I'm like, okay, I'm fully in now. Let's watch more horror movies. And then ever
Nice.
since I just became everything that came into theaters I consumed.
Nice. Nice. I love it. I love it. Um, I've been a huge fan of horror since I was a kid, and I still am. And I just love it. I love everything about horror films, horror TV shows, horror video games. I go to all the horror conventions and come to Philly and Jersey. I
That's
just
awesome.
love
Well,
it.
what are some of your favorite movies? Horror wise.
Um, like a lot of like old school like horror, 80s horror, like Night of the Demons. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I did. That's a Hungarian film, right? Or it's a Swedish film. I
No,
see.
no,
I did.
it is a American film. It's like this high school girl. She's throwing a Halloween party at this house that has demons in it, and when they go to the house, they unleash the demon, and the demon goes into her, and she becomes like the lead demon, and she kills all her friends and stuff. And
Hold on, I'm looking at it now. Night of the Demons.
hmm hmm
Trying to see if this is the one that I
I
watched.
think it's like 87 or 88 it was out.
It's 88. Yeah.
88, yeah.
Yeah, I did watch this.
Okay.
I remember there's another movie that's giving me the Demons vibe as well. I just can't remember what it was
Well,
called.
there is like a movie just called Demons, and that's foreign film.
That's the one that I'm thinking of then.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Night of the Demons, yes, that's a classic because I was
I,
like,
I
yes, they
love
have
that.
the second and third one. It's a great movie.
I
Great
love
movie.
that movie. And of course, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space and all the Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael, Chucky,
Hmm.
y- like those are like all my
Yeah, the
films that I
classics.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'll throw those in too. I mean, I'd probably say Halloween is my favorite out of those.
Hmm.
I think even before Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead came about, there was I think I can't remember what Halloween it was. It was like my eighth grade year in middle school. Yeah, it was either eighth grade or sixth grade where AMC was having a Halloween marathon,
Nice, nice.
and it was they edited a lot of stuff out,
Well,
obviously,
of
because it was for
course,
TV.
of
But I
course.
think it was tame enough for me to sort of be like, okay, Halloween is actually kind of cool. And I remember that Halloween I watched at the time. It was like six or seven Halloween movies, like straight. It was all the way
Nice.
to Halloween Resurrection. Yeah, that was pretty
Eh,
cool.
Halloween Resurrection wasn't. I mean, him, Michael killing Laurie, finally killing Laurie in the movie was like the best, but then afterwards, it wasn't good.
No, yeah, the first few minutes of that movie are actually pretty solid and
Yeah,
entertaining. You
yeah,
know, she's in the psych ward and
yeah,
she's like
exactly,
pretending to be sick, and then I'm like, yo,
exactly.
this is fire. But then after that,
It
you know,
went
when Busta
downhill.
Rhymes starts,
Yes.
karate chopping
Oh
Michael
my
Myers,
god.
it's like,
Oh my god.
okay,
Like,
it's a little silly.
it seems like they had two different directors, one for the first few minutes and then one for everything else. It's like,
Yeah, I think what they did was, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny you say that because you definitely do see an incredible style change after
yeah,
that moment
definitely
in the
you do.
movie. So
Yeah.
it's almost like maybe they took like an idea that was probably pitched for the ending of Halloween H2O.
Mhm.
Like like I'm thinking like that could have worked as like the another final act in, like, let's say Halloween H2O, like after she cuts his head off,
Yeah,
and then there's like a 10 months later, and then you find out, oh man, she killed the wrong person.
she
And
killed the
then,
wrong
like, to
cop.
add
Yeah.
an extra, yeah. So I think that could have been, I mean, it'd be interesting to go back and like look that up to see if there's any sort of like information on that. But I honestly think that that was probably an idea or maybe an alternate ending to
Probably.
H2O that they
Yeah.
like, let's use that for the sequel because of course there's going to be a sequel.
Well, yeah, of course. And is there anything you want to like push or plug? I mean, I know Ash, the Ash film. Like, is there anything else too that you want to like plug?
um Not in particular. I mean, I really, if you guys want to go check out my social media, all of my social media is Iko the Rainman, IKOTHE Rainman, all one word. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all of that. And honestly, that's probably the best way to keep up with a lot of my shenanigans and the behind the scenes and stuff for the movie. A silenthill.com would be your second means if you just really want to follow what's going on with the movie. But that's really it. You know, if you guys, we have posted posters, we do have the character art, and then we did have makeup tests for the monsters that we've done. So we hired a very talented, her name is Amanda, special effects makeup artist.
Nice.
And me, her, and our famous friend, who's a tattoo artist, High Noon, was the one who designed all the creatures. Wanted to
Sweet.
have, we miss actual prosthetics, you know. There's a time where, you know, especially in like the 70s 80s, that was really what drove a lot of our movies before everything became like
Oh,
CGI.
of
So
course. Of course.
yeah, but that's really it. You know, I think if you're a horror movie fan, what we're trying to encapsulate here, forget the Silent Hill element to it. We're trying to do a smart horror film that looks very artistic, very artsy.
Nice. Nice.
If you've guys seen the 2020 or 2019 Gretel and Hansel,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the cinematography for that movie is absolutely brilliant. So that's really, like, we're trying to create an art house piece here that actually is telling like a pretty interesting psychological dive of someone who's lost their minds. So
Oh,
we're trying
nice.
to
I
do something
love it.
smart, you know, in the realm of Hereditary and, you know, some of the horror movies that don't rely on jump scares or
Yeah,
violence to
exactly.
be able to make it scary. I think, you know,
Exactly.
being in your own mind, it could honestly be the scariest place ever. So welcome to Silent Hill.
Nice. Well, I
Pardon me, hold
definitely,
on. My lawyer just told me to scratch that from the record. Welcome to Ash. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
well, you know, you definitely are gonna have to say that in the movies.
No, yeah, it's funny too because in the movie, we the place that they're at is not called Silent Hill, but called Sutherland Hills.
Oh, okay.
And Sutherland, or that name was inspired and came from the protagonist of Silent Hill 2, which his name is James Sutherland. So I was just like,
Oh.
well, for now, this place is just going to be known as Sutherland Hills.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
there are names there that I have incorporated from the games that have been reutilized in different ways. So sort
Wow.
of as a, hey, this is where this came from. This is a product of this. It's sort of like an I love you letter. So
Wow, I love it. Nice.
thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to show
Nice.
you. We're gonna have hopefully have a teaser out by Halloween.
Definitely want to see that.
And
Yes.
then it'll be out next year. I'm hoping either by, gosh, I'm not sure how long post production is going to take, but
Hmm.
we're aiming for a summer to fall release.
Okay. Sweet, man. I am really looking forward to this. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the games, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Like I said, I can't wait to show you. We'll have footage in a couple days,
Hmm.
but we're
Yeah.
gonna probably hold off that to
Oh
make
yeah,
sure
of
we have
course.
what we want until
Of course.
to be able to present it properly come Halloween. But there's definitely going to be some really cool behind the scene photos and videos of
Nice.
the spooky madness that we got going on. So definitely go check out the
Nice.
social media.
Well, and definitely like when the film's about to be released, I'll definitely you could definitely come back on and talk about it and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have so much more to talk about
Well,
once it's
yeah, of
complete,
course.
and I'll show you some exclusive footage and stuff like
Nice.
that. So I would
Nice.
love to get some of your opinions. I know you're asking me a lot of questions, but we'll probably have it flipped a little bit because I'll probably be grilling you and be like, "What do you think of this, huh?"
Okay, fine, fine.
I mean, I'm speaking to an expert here. I gotta, get as much information as I can.
Okay, 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 that works.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, definitely thank you so much for taking time out today to come on the show. I know you must be really busy because you're about to film soon. So thanks again for taking time out.
No, it's like I said, thank you for having me on, and on behalf of the entire team. And I speak for everybody. There's like 30 plus people involved. We're all very
Like,
grateful for you for having us on, for being interested in what we're creating. And we just wanted to say thank you.
of course, I'm really happy to do it. Like, I love horror, so anytime I see someone trying to make a horror film or the crowdfunding and all that, I like to help out as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we're really grateful, and hopefully we make you proud.
Okay. All right, buddy. Well, thanks again for doing this and have a great rest of the day and good luck when you film in a couple days.
Thank you, brother. I'll speak to you soon, and we'll have the teaser out this Halloween for you.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Thank you.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.